The first thing I noticed was the suitcase. Not my wife's face, not the missing wedding ring. The suitcase. It stood by the front door like it had been waiting for me all evening. Black fabric. Silver handle. One wheel twisted sideways, like it had been dragged too fast from the bedroom. I stood in the hallway with rain dripping from my jacket sleeves onto the floor. Audra was beside the stairs, wearing the cream coat I bought her 2 Christmases ago. Her hair was done, her makeup was fresh, her purse hung from her shoulder. That was when my stomach dropped. People did not look that ready during a fight. They looked that ready when the fight was already over. "Audra," I said, "what's going on?" She took a slow breath. "I'm leaving." The house went silent. At first, my brain tried to make it smaller. Maybe she was angry. Maybe she needed space. Maybe I had missed some sign during another long week at work. "Leaving where?" I asked. She looked away. That tiny pause told me almost everything. Wade's. My fingers tightened around my keys. Wade Mercer. Her high school ex. The man she always called complicated. The man she said was ancient history. The man who still liked her pictures late at night. The man who hugged her too long at a cookout and smiled at me like he knew something I didn't. I trusted her anyway. That was the part that made me feel stupid before I even felt angry. I looked at her left hand. No ring. "Did you cheat on me?" I asked. Audra's lips parted. No answer. That silence crawled over my skin. She shifted her purse higher on her shoulder. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. But it happened. "Nolan, please don't make this ugly." I almost laughed, but nothing came out. "You're leaving me for your ex, and I'm the one making it ugly?" Her eyes flashed. "Wade understands me in a way you don't." For 7 years, I had understood plenty. I understood how she liked her coffee with too much cream. I understood the tone in her voice before a panic attack. I understood that hospitals scared her, so I drove her father to therapy after surgery. I understood how to cover bills when she quit 2 jobs in 1 year because she said she felt trapped. But Wade understood her. I swallowed hard. So what was I? Audra looked tired, like I was asking a question she had hoped to avoid. "You were good to me." "That's not what I asked." Her face tightened. Then she said it. "He was always the one." The words did not burn. They froze. I stood there, staring at the woman I had built my life around, while she rewrote our whole marriage in one sentence. I was not her husband anymore. I was the delay, the safe stop, the man she stayed with until the real love came back. "He was always the one," I repeated. She looked down. "I didn't want to hurt you." "But you wanted to leave." "I need to choose myself." That was the kind of line people used when they wanted betrayal to sound brave. I looked around the hallway, the framed anniversary photo, the small wooden bench I built because she hated putting on shoes while standing, the blue umbrella near the door because she always forgot hers. Every part of that house had a piece of me in it. She looked at it like a waiting room. I wanted to yell. I wanted to ask if Wade had paid her credit cards when she cried at the kitchen table. I wanted to ask if Wade had sat with her father after surgery. I wanted to ask if Wade knew how often I held our life together while she called it boring. But I did not say any of that. I stepped aside from the door. "Take what's yours." Audra blinked. She expected me to beg. I saw it in her face. She expected me to block the door, cry, plead, prove she still mattered. But I just stood there. She grabbed the suitcase handle. Before she stepped outside, she looked back. "You're a good man," she said, "but good was never enough." That one almost broke me. The suitcase wheels rattled over the threshold. I watched her load everything into her car. She did not look back until she pulled away. By then, I had already closed the door. For a long time, I stood in the hallway. The house did not feel empty. It felt erased. That night, I did not sleep. I sat at the kitchen table with the lights off while rain tapped against the window. Around dawn, I noticed her old tablet charging on the counter. A notification lit the screen. It was from our shared calendar. A restaurant reservation from 2 months earlier, not with my name, not on a night she told me she was working late. I opened the calendar because it was still connected to our household account. I did not hack anything. I did not guess passwords. It was right there, glowing in a dark kitchen like it wanted to be found. There were little entries hidden between normal ones. Client lunch. Errands. Coffee. One had a location attached. A hotel bar outside town. My hands went numb. The affair had not been sudden. It had been scheduled. There were parking receipts in the shared email, delivery orders sent near Wade's apartment. One blurry photo in the cloud showed her coat on the back of a chair across from him. Then I saw a saved message preview from Wade. Just get through tonight. Once you're here, he'll fold. He'll fold. Not Nolan. Not your husband. He. Like I was a door they expected to push open. Something changed in me at that table. I still loved Audra. That was the worst part. Love did not shut off because someone deserved it to. But something else woke up too. Self-respect. I opened a notebook and started writing. Dates. Accounts. Bills. What she took. What she could still access. At 8 that morning, I called the bank. I separated what I legally could. I removed her as an authorized user on cards that were only in my name. I changed passwords on delivery apps, streaming accounts, shopping accounts, and the home security system. I did not touch anything that belonged to her. I did not drain accounts. I did not play dirty. I simply stopped leaving myself open to someone who had already chosen to walk through me. Around noon, Audra texted. I hope you're not going to be petty. I stared at the screen. I wanted to send a paragraph. I wanted to ask how she had the nerve. I wanted to tell her petty was not the word for what happened in our hallway. Instead, I wrote, I'm going to be fair. She did not reply. That became the first rule of my new life. Fair. Not cruel. Not weak. Fair. The first weeks were rough. Not loud, rough. Quiet, rough. I found one of her earrings under the bed and had to sit on the floor for 10 minutes. I opened the fridge and saw the yogurt she always bought but never finished. I woke up at 2 in the morning because I thought I heard her keys in the door. The worst part was how fast she told the story first. Friends started calling with careful voices. Audra had told people our marriage had been dead for years. She said I was cold. She said Wade helped her feel seen again. Seen. I almost asked if anyone had seen me working overtime to cover the mortgage. I almost asked if anyone had seen me driving her father to therapy while she stayed home, because hospitals made her anxious. I almost asked if anyone had seen me standing in the hallway while my wife told me another man had always been the one. But I learned fast that defending yourself to people who enjoy gossip is like pouring water into sand. So I kept it simple. Audra left me for Wade after an affair. Some believed me. Some did not. I let them live with that. 2 weeks after she left, I met with a divorce lawyer named Maris Ellaway. Her office smelled like coffee and old paper. She had sharp eyes and no patience for drama. I brought bank records, account lists, photos of missing household items, and copies of the calendar entries. Maris flipped through everything. You're organized, she said. I haven't slept much. That works for a few days, she replied. After that, it ruins you. I almost smiled. She leaned back. Do not confront Wade. Do not threaten him. Do not post about this. And do not let her cry you into making bad choices. I looked up. She hasn't cried to me. She will. That sentence stayed with me. Before I left, Maris tapped the folder and said, people who leave loudly usually expect the other person to clean up quietly. I carried that home like a warning. The next time Audra called, her voice was soft. Hey? I closed my eyes. For 7 years, that voice had pulled the husband out of me. The soft one. The fixer. The man who asked if she had eaten before asking what she had done. What do you need, Audra? I asked. That's cold. No, it's clear. She sighed. I just wanted to see how you were. I'm alive. Nolan, what do you need? Her tone changed. Wade's place is smaller than I expected. I need to pick up more furniture. Maybe the guest room dresser and the air fryer. There it was. Comfort first. Request second. I said email Maris with the list. We'll arrange a time. You can't just talk to me. I am talking to you. No, you're punishing me. No, I said. I'm not being your husband anymore. She went silent. Once, I would have rushed to fill that silence. This time, I let it sit there. A few days later, someone sent me a photo Wade posted. He and Audra were at a lakeside bar. His arm was around her. She was smiling, but not with her eyes. The caption said something about bad timing finally turning good. The comments were full of hearts. Real love always finds a way. You two were meant to be. So happy for you. I placed my phone face down and walked outside. The porch light flickered above me. Audra had complained about it for months. I had bought a new fixture, but never installed it. That night, I fixed it. It took 20 minutes. When warm light filled the porch, I stood there longer than I needed to. It was small, but it was mine. After that, I started fixing other things. The loose cabinet handle, the squeaky laundry room door, the cracked tile by the back entrance. I cooked simple meals, bad ones at first, burnt eggs, dry chicken, pasta that stuck together, but I ate at the table anyway. My neighbor, Ruthie Bell, noticed my trash cans had not gone out one morning and knocked on my door. Ruthie was in her late 60s, with silver hair, garden gloves, and no fear of awkward questions. You getting divorced or dying? She asked. I blinked. Divorced. Good, she said. Death is harder to make soup for. That was how I ended up eating at her kitchen table every Thursday. She did not pity me. She just fed me and talked about her roses, her late husband, and the raccoon stealing tomatoes from her garden. It helped. Not because the pain vanished. Because it reminded me there was still a world outside it. About a month after Audra left, a collection notice came to the house. It was for a store card in her name. The balance was high. Not life-ending high, but high enough to explain the shopping bags she used to hide, and the locked phone screens she turned away from me. I scanned it and sent it to Maris. Another piece clicked into place. Audra had not left a boring life for true love. She had left consequences she did not want to face, and Wade had looked like an exit sign. But some exits lead to alleys. That same week, Audra's father, Glenn, called me. Nolan, he said, I heard. My grip tightened on the phone. Yeah. I didn't know before it happened. I figured. He cleared his throat. I'm sorry. Those two words hit harder than I expected. Because someone connected to Audra had finally said them without adding an excuse. He said, you were good to this family. I had to look away from the window. Thank you. She's my daughter, he said. I love her, but wrong is wrong. After we hung up, I sat on the edge of the bed and cried for the first time. No music. No dramatic collapse. Just my face and my hands while the room blurred. I realized I had been waiting for permission to feel betrayed. 2 months in, Audra's new life started cracking. I did not go looking. Things came to me. A friend of a friend saw Wade flirting with a bartender while Audra was in the restroom. Someone else said he still had dating apps on his phone. Then Tessa Ward, one of Audra's closest friends, called me. I owe you an apology, she said. I was in the garage, sanding an old oak table I had pulled from behind some boxes. For what? For believing her too fast. I said nothing. Tessa kept going. She told us you shut her out for years. She made it sound like she had no choice. She had choices. I know that now. The dates don't line up. I looked down at the table. Audra always hated it. She said it looked like something from a sad cabin. But under the scratches, the wood was beautiful, warm, solid. Tessa said, I'm sorry, Nolan. I wiped dust from the grain. I'm tired of being explained by people who never asked me. She was quiet. That's fair, she said. Fair. There was that word again. During divorce talks, Audra demanded more than I expected. Half the emergency savings. Several pieces of furniture. Temporary support because she claimed I controlled the finances. Maris handled it with records. Bills I had paid. Transfers I had made. Messages where Audra asked me to handle payments because she was overwhelmed. The demand got smaller after that. Audra's emails got colder. "You're trying to erase me," she wrote once. I almost replied. I almost told her that erasing someone was packing suitcases while they were at work. Erasing someone was telling friends the marriage had died before you chose to kill it. Erasing someone was standing in a hallway and saying another man had always been the one. But I did not answer. Maris did. That was another kind of healing. Letting someone else stand between me and the fire. Near the end of the 3rd month, my phone rang while I was in the garage. Audra. I watched her name light up. I did not answer. A minute later, she called again. I turned the phone over. The next morning, Tessa texted. "I think Wade embarrassed Audra last night. Bad." I did not ask. She told me anyway. They had gone to a birthday dinner with old friends. Wade drank too much. Someone joked about whether he and Audra would finally get married. Wade laughed and said, "Let's not make the same mistake twice." In front of everyone. I read the message twice. A bitter part of me wanted to feel glad, but mostly I felt tired. Humiliation did not become pretty just because it happened to someone who hurt you. Still, I knew what it meant. The fantasy was leaking. A week later, it broke. I found out the details later, but I could guess most of it. Audra found messages on Wade's phone. Another woman. Another set of promises. Another version of the same lines. He told this woman she understood him. He told her timing was cruel. He told her he wished things were simple. I wondered if Audra saw herself in those messages. I wondered if she understood she had not been special. She had been next. When she confronted him, Wade did not even deny much. He told her she knew who he was. He told her not to act shocked. Then he said, "Don't act like I stole you. You packed your own bags." That line must have cut deep, because it was true. Wade did not steal my wife. Audra walked out. That night, rain came down hard. I was in the kitchen, sanding the oak table by hand. The wood had started to shine under the work. The scratches were still there, but they looked different now. Not ruined, just marked. The porch light glowed through the front windows. Then I heard a knock. Not the doorbell. A weak knock. I stopped sanding. My body knew before my mind admitted it. I walked to the door. When I opened it, Audra was standing on the porch. Her hair was wet and stuck to her cheek. Mascara had run under one eye. Her coat was soaked at the shoulders. Beside her was the same black suitcase. Same silver handle. Same twisted wheel. For 1 second, time folded. I saw the woman I married. The woman who danced barefoot in our kitchen. The woman who held my hand during storms. The woman I had loved so much that I mistook caring for her as proof she cared the same way back. My chest hurt. Because I did not hate her. That would have been easier. Audra's lips trembled. He cheated again, she sobbed. Again. That one word told the whole story. Wade had always been the one. Wade had also always been Wade. She looked at me like I was supposed to move aside. Like the house would open. Like the old Nolan would step forward, take the suitcase, make tea, find towels, and ask what she needed. My eyes dropped to the suitcase. I remembered the wheels leaving. I remembered her bare ring finger. I remembered good was never enough. I remembered he was always the one. I looked back at her. "Then go cry to the man you chose." Her face changed like I had slapped her, but I had not raised my voice. That made it worse. "Nolan," she whispered. "No, you don't understand." "I understand enough." He manipulated me. "You are not a child." I was confused. "You packed suitcases." She flinched. I did not enjoy it, but I did not soften. She looked past me into the hallway. I saw her notice the clean floor, the fixed light, the missing anniversary photo. Her eyes moved toward the kitchen, where the oak table sat under warm light, half restored and already beautiful. The house had not collapsed. I had not collapsed. That seemed to hurt her more than anything. "I made a mistake," she said. "Yes." "I know I hurt you." "No," I said. "You knew that night. You just thought I'd stay hurt in a way that was useful to you." Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. Rain tapped against the porch roof. She hugged herself. "Can I come in, just for tonight?" There it was. The old roll. The old door. The soft place. Every memory in me pulled toward her. My body remembered caring for her before my pride could speak. I saw her shivering. I saw the woman who used to press her cold feet against my leg in bed. But I also saw the woman who stood in that same doorway and made me feel like 7 years of marriage had been a waiting room for Wade. I reached for my phone. "I can call you a cab." Her eyes widened. "A cab? Or your father? You're really going to leave me out here?" "I'm not leaving you anywhere. I'm offering help. I'm not offering my home." "Our home," she said. That was the first time anger rose clean in my chest. "No," I said. "You gave up the right to call it that when you rolled that suitcase out and told me another man was always the one." Her face crumpled. "I never meant to hurt you like this." I nodded slowly. "You meant for me to survive it quietly." That stopped her. Because we both knew it was true. She had not wanted me unharmed. She had wanted me manageable. I asked, "Do you want me to call Glenn?" She stared at me for a long moment. The suitcase wheel shifted on the wet porch. "No," she whispered. I nodded. "Good night, Audra." I closed the door. I did not slam it. I just closed it. For a while, I stood with my hand on the knob. My heart beat so hard it hurt. On the other side, I heard nothing. No screaming. No begging. Just rain. A minute later, the suitcase wheels rattled across the porch. This time, the sound did not erase me. It set me free. The next morning, I woke to a long text from Audra. It started with an apology. Then came the reasons. She was lost. She was scared. Wade knew what to say. Our marriage had problems. She wished I had fought harder. That line almost made me throw the phone. She wished I had fought harder. As if love was a courtroom where she could betray me and still judge my defense. I forwarded the message to Maris. I did not reply. Weeks later, the divorce was final. Audra got what was fair, not what guilt would have handed her. The hidden debts stayed with her. The house stayed with me. The emergency savings were divided by law, not by tears. Wade moved on fast. People stopped calling their story romantic. Funny how love stories change when the ending gets ugly. I never exposed her online. I never called Wade. I never tried to make everyone hate her. I just stopped protecting her from the truth. That was enough. One Saturday, Ruthie invited me to a small backyard dinner. I almost stayed home. But the oak table was finished now. The porch light was fixed. The hallway was quiet. So I went. At one point, someone asked how I was doing. 3 months earlier, that question would have broken me. This time, I looked back toward my house. The windows glowed warm. The door was closed. I said, "Better than I expected." And I meant it. Audra left with a suitcase because she thought I was the safe choice she had outgrown. 3 months later, she came back with that same suitcase and learned the truth. I was never her backup plan. I was the door she closed herself. If this story pulled you in, hit like, subscribe, and see you in the next one.